This is everything you need to know before you move into the dorms. Hey guys, I'm Skylar. I'm a senior at Indiana University, and today we're going to be talking about everything dorm life. I know thinking about moving into a dorm can be fun, but also kind of scary at first. There's so many questions, and there's just a lot of things that people don't really talk about online that you might be wondering. This video is going to cover a lot of those things. We're first going to talk about some advice for a bunch of different dorm life topics, and then I'm going to include a list of pretty much everything I bought that was super helpful for me when I was moving in freshman year. This list is actually linked in the description. Absolutely free, we don't gatekeep here. And it has a list of categorized items, each with links on where to buy it. So let's just jump into it. I've got to grab my computer. I have the list pulled up right now. Starting with my experience. Like I said, I'm a senior at Indiana University. Before we begin, let me preface this. I am going to talk a little bit about my own experience, so that's a lot of things having to do with Indiana, but everything said in this video is pretty much applicable to any college, and if I am talking about something that's very specific to Indiana, you can just fast forward and find something that applies to you. I'm going to have the chapters of this video listed in the description, so I'll try to be a little bit more general, but just know that there is going to be a little bit of IU talk. And if you haven't decided where you're going yet, definitely look into us. So like I said, my name's Skylar. I'm a senior at Indiana University. I'm a journalism student, more of like public relations and strategic communications. And then I'm minoring in marketing through Kelly School of Business. My experience with the dorms is a little bit different than a lot of people's here. I actually lived on campus for 2 years. I know every campus has a little bit different of dorm culture. I just mean like the expectations of how long you live on campus. But for Indiana, since we have so many undergraduate students, it's usually just freshmen that live on campus, and then by sophomore year you either move into apartments or you live in a sorority or fraternity home. But for me, being an out-of-state student and not really knowing anyone that I wanted to sign a lease with, it's stressful to find somewhere to live the next year because they expect you to sign leases in like October. Like girl, I'd been here for a month. I did not know people like that. So I ended up getting really lucky and being able to live in one of the best dorms on campus my sophomore year, and I actually got to pick my exact room, which is something that I don't think they do anymore. So I was like the last group that actually got to do that, but we'll get to that. Starting with my freshman year, I made my college decision kind of late. I ended up applying for a random roommate. I did this because I had talked to some people, but I didn't really want to put somebody else in the position where if I chose a different school, they wouldn't have anyone to be with. So for me, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna talk to people, try to meet people, but I think I'm gonna end up applying random. And so when I decided on Indiana, that's what I did. And I was actually put into a random triple in Eigenmann. So if you're not from Indiana, not going here, Eigenmann is the tallest dorm on campus. I was on the 10th floor, but it's in the central neighborhood. A lot of people like to say it is one of the worst dorms on campus, but I'm an Eigenmann apologist. I don't think it was that bad. If you guys want like a full video on the dorms at Indiana and the difference between the neighborhoods, I can definitely do that. For this video's sake, I want to get to the actual advice. I was put into a random triple, so I had 2 roommates and I did not know either of them prior. I actually met them for the first time when we all moved in. My sophomore year, like I said, I was able to pick my room. I actually don't think they allow sophomores to live in Walnut Grove anymore, but I got to pick what dorm I wanted to be in and pick the room. So I was put into a single suite, which is a room with its own bathroom. You don't have to share it with anyone, which was so nice. Like I honestly miss my sophomore dorm so much. It was so cozy. Now I think it's a little bit harder for sophomores to live on campus at Indiana. Just keep that in mind. So let's start with, how do you find a roommate? This can be kind of daunting if you're like me and you really didn't know anyone coming to the same school as you. Like I think there was pretty much only 2 people in my graduating class who came to Indiana, and even before that, I don't know anyone who went to the school in like the past like 3 years. And I think somebody like 2 years younger came here, but you get the picture. Not many people from my hometown go to this school. I'm gonna age myself with this, but when I was a freshman, there was this app called Patio, and you could make a profile and pick out like your interests, and you'd be able to meet people who were going to your school and had some of the same interests with you, which was really cool, but I don't think they have that app anymore. So most people just find roommates or find people that they want to connect with through the class of blank Instagram pages. I remember these were pretty popular when I was a freshman 2, but it got kind of annoying because you had to pay for some of them. Either way, it can still be a good way to connect with people. Based off that bio, you might be able to get a pretty good picture of what that person likes and whether or not you guys would be able to vibe. Another slept on method of finding people is like Facebook group chats. I know currently I'm in like quite a few parent group chats because I think it's entertaining. So I would say social media is definitely the biggest way to find people. I know that that can be kind of scary. Just know it's pretty safe to do that. And sometimes you'll even have to like verify like acceptance letters and things like that. So what are some good things to talk about with potential roommates? This can be kind of tricky. It's also kind of up to you. Figure out the things that matter most to you when living with someone. So whether that's like schedules, like sleep schedules, things like that, levels of cleanliness, expectations for socializing, and just like general interests and things like that. Like your roommate doesn't have to be a carbon copy of you, but you just want to make sure that it's someone that you're gonna feel comfortable with. I think it's really great. I know some people who are able to meet up with potential roommates prior to or do like video calls, things like that. Just something that's gonna give you a better sense of someone's personality. But if that whole process is feeling a little bit overwhelming for you and you want to just go random, I think that's completely okay. There's some people who go with a random roommate and their random roommate just ends up being their absolute best friend, and that's amazing. Me and my freshman year roommates were not super close anymore, but when we lived together, it was really nice and I got along with them really good. And also the other thing is, we were told this at one of our orientation events, the number of people who have roommate problems is pretty much even among those who go with a random or those who pick somebody beforehand, because like you don't really know what someone's like until you live with them. So even if you come in your roommates with like someone that you knew from high school, there's a chance that you could still have issues. There's pretty much an even chance going random or going not random. And I'm not saying that's the majority, I'm just saying don't stress. And that kind of leads me into my next thing, which is how to avoid conflicts. So if you're anything like me, you're kind of scared to address problems. You don't want to bring things up because you don't want to make people mad. Just my biggest piece of advice is make sure that you have good communication at the beginning of the year. Like I know at Indiana, they make us do roommate contracts. Me and my roommates never did that. Maybe we should have. So if you have to do that, it's a good opportunity to just talk about things. Like you don't know what type of issues you're going to have to deal with. So just make sure that you have good communication and you're trying to be open with each other and kind. Just like kind of have grace to know that it's a new situation for everyone. Try to mediate things as they occur instead of waiting for anxiety or annoyance to build up. I would say that's my biggest piece of advice. Be direct with things as they come. Don't let things cascade into a bigger issue. And also like your RAs are there for you. If you have a serious problem, even if you have like a little problem and you need advice on it, go to your RAs, go to someone older than you and just ask questions. I need a drink. I'm talking so much. Our next topic is how do you handle the adjustment? It is a big change. You have so much more freedom and responsibility. It can be really fun, but it can also be a little bit nerve-wracking. And like, that's okay. That is completely okay to have that emotion. I know a lot of people struggle freshman year with like homesickness and things like that. Me personally, I never really went through that. So you don't really know what your experience is going to be like based off of somebody else. So I would say just approach it with an open mind. Really just take advantage of the opportunities that you have and try to be positive. I know that that can be hard, especially if you are going through like homesickness or struggling to find people that you kind of connect with, but just know that like everyone is going through little things like that freshman year. I know like for me, I felt like I fell into a really good friend group right away, and that kind of didn't last throughout second semester. So everyone is going to experience things a little bit different, but everyone has their own issues and struggles and also really fun experiences. So again, be positive. It is a big change, but change can also be really cool. And the things that I've really liked about college is not only how much you learn educationally, but how much you grow as a person. Really just looking at things that might be difficult as something that's going to help you grow and help you learn more about yourself can really help you have better, more positive mindset about things. But there are definitely some things that you can do to help you become more comfortable with college within that first little time that you're on campus. First First of all, I would say my biggest piece of advice, and this honestly might be a hot take, I would say try to move in as early as possible. Both my freshman and my sophomore year, I think I moved in at one of the earliest dates. My sophomore year, we might have even like paid for me to move in early. I just personally think it's a lot easier to get adjusted to things if you have like that full week before classes start to kind of learn more about the environment you're going to be in, maybe like meet your neighbors, go on walks on campus, get to know the dining halls a little bit. If you can move in towards the earlier time, definitely do that. And also, like, my parents probably stayed the first 3 or 4 days of me being there, so by that like third or fourth day, I was like, leave, I want me time, go. And I think that kind of helped me like not feel homesick, was because I was at the point where I was like, you guys need to like give me my space. Like, looking back, I'm obviously very grateful that they did stay that long, and I know not everyone is going to be able to do that. Continuing on with kind of welcome week advice. I don't know how many schools do that, but for Indiana, welcome week has a lot of different activities that are geared towards helping you meet people. Go to these events. You don't want to look back your sophomore year and be like, I should have gone to these, because you're gonna feel unk as hell if you go as a sophomore. And like, some of these might seem like cheesy or lame, but still go to some. And even if you don't have people to go with, go by yourself. I remember going to both the stadium and our like freshman induction thing fully by myself. Nobody else that I had met already wanted to go, and I was like, what y'all mean? These are free, they are available for our entertainment, I'm going. So if you do that, you're gonna meet other people who are doing that too. Like, I met probably 2 or 3 people on my walk up to both of those events that I just stayed with the entire time. They also went by themselves and wanted the experience. I would say the moral there is just get comfortable maybe doing some things by yourself. It's not weird, it's honestly a strength. And if you go to something by yourself, that doesn't mean that you're gonna be alone. Be open to meeting people, just like say something. Strike up conversations with people. Most of the time, other people there are probably gonna be like shy and wanting to meet people too, but don't have the courage to say something. So be the person to say something. Also, going along with meeting people, a lot of people say to open your door for the first week of school. So like in your dorm, everybody keeps their doors open. I didn't do that my freshman year, and we were secluded at the end of the hallway, and we really did not meet people. But my sophomore year I did, and even though again I was at the end of the hallway, weird that happened twice, right? But people would come down and talk to you, and it's fun. And like, those are the people that you're gonna be living with all year, so you might as well get familiar with them. Another fun thing that I didn't do my freshman year but I did my sophomore year is the whiteboards on the doors. Super fun. You can put your Snapchat on it, you can put different polls, just make it like a game, and it's fun and people love it. Living in the dorms is genuinely so fun. Like, yeah, there's things that are like you're in the trenches, but at the same time, looking back, I loved the experience so much. And then another little tip to just adjusting and getting comfortable: don't form your habits without exploring first. Especially at a big university, it can get kind of easy to just go to the same dining halls or go to the same places to study because you got into a habit without seeing what else is out there. So I'd say really take that first little bit of time that you're there to just like walk around and see things. One, that'll help you get more familiar with the campus. Like, I remember walking around here my first couple weeks and being like, I don't know where anything is, I have to use Google Maps whenever I go. But now I'm fine. And that was because like I spent a lot of time the first month just going places. And then my last tip for managing the adjustment is just be smart. Obviously, you're gonna want to socialize a lot and maybe like party and do things like that. The better that you can start off, the easier it's going to be in the long run. I think it's important to socialize and get to meet people, but it's also really important to do well in your studies. And again, don't screw yourself over in the long run by doing really bad in your classes in the beginning because you got overwhelmed with so much freedom. If you can be focused that first semester, and you're going to want to be focused that first semester because by spring, classes are a little bit unfun. So if you can do really well that first semester, it just sets you up at such a better place than if you were to do bad and have to work your way up. Get in the mindset of, in order to do the fun things, I need to get my work done, and your future self will thank you later. Now we're getting more into like dorm stuff. How to keep your dorm organized. I'll admit my room at home is not organized. It's a little bit better now, but like in high school, it was such a struggle for me to keep it clean. So that was something that I was really intentional about when moving to college. Was I wanted my dorm to be so clean and pristine and just feel relaxing. One of the biggest ways that I did that was I made sure that everything had a place, because when everything has a place, like, it's so much easier to clean and it's so much easier to keep keep things clean. It's very easy to worry about your dorm being small, especially if you are in like a triple or a small double, things like that. But you actually have so much more space than you think you do. And that's mainly if you're able to use it in a good way. I need to know like everything before I do something. So I would like search and search and search to try to find exact pictures of the dorm that I was assigned to. And there's like a couple ways that you can do this. One, your school might offer floor plans. You might be able to go see it. Two, you might be able to do tours during like new student orientation, things like that. Or three, there are websites, like I don't remember what it's called. There's like dorm rating websites that you can find pictures of dorms and see other people's responses, or like Reddit, TikTok, things like that. Anywhere where people might be posting about it, you can find it. It just might take a little bit of searching. But if you're able to like picture your space beforehand, especially with a layout, it's going to be a lot easier to plan for what types of storage is going to be good in your dorm. So like my life hack freshman year was I was able to fit 2 shelves into my dorm. And I don't know how I did this, because this was the side of the room that I was on freshman year. This is tiny, and I was still able to fit 2 shelves in there. And if you're able to do that and do like cube storage, you'll be able to fit so much random stuff into your dorm. And it's just going to make it so much easier to keep it clean, because everything has a place and everything's organized. And if those drawers are a little bit messy, it'll be hidden from the eye. And then another thing, if you're going to be in a smaller space and you can loft your bed, do it. I had a loft bed my freshman year. When I was laying in the bed and I looked up like this is as far as my hand would go. I was that close to the ceiling, but it gave me so much room. So it was so worth it. Having my desk underneath my bed just gave me a lot more room for everything. Like my freshman year dorm was set up so nice for what little space I had to begin with. Like I had my desk, and then I had a drawer that I set up like a makeup place. I had shelves for storage. I used other shelves as a bookcase. Be creative with it, and you can fit a lot of stuff. Next up is everybody's favorite topic, laundry. I'm gonna be so honest. I was one of those people who had never done a load of laundry before I went to college. Is that embarrassing to admit? Yes. So was I nervous to do laundry at school? Also, yes. If I can find a picture of Eigenmann's laundry room, I will include it, because it looks like a dungeon. I'm pretty sure it caught on fire one year. Scary. It's also gonna be busy. You can see how small of a space this is. Eigenmann was one of the biggest dorms on campus. There was a lot of people. It can get kind of hard to find a time to do laundry. There's different strategies to this. One, you can just be patient and wait. Obviously, when it's super busy, just take one machine. But for me, sometimes what I would do is I would do my laundry at really weird times, either like really late at night. There was times at Walnut Grove where I would be pulling up to that laundry room at like 1 a.m. But you do what you gotta do. Or you can just do it at like early mornings during class periods, stuff like that. The other thing, since laundry rooms are so busy, set a timer for how long you have your clothes in for, and then be down at least 3 minutes before that timer goes off. Because I had one situation, I forgot about my clothes, and I came down to my bras and underwear being set on top of the laundry machine, and that was embarrassing, a humbling experience. But at the same time, can't blame them, because I forgot. For like detergents, things like that, I would suggest staying away from liquid. Either use pods, or sometimes they have like these sheets. It's just a lot more convenient to store, and it's easier to take down to the laundry room, especially if you were like me and you were on the 10th floor and the laundry was in the basement. Okay, moving on to bathrooms. Another one of people's favorite dorm topics. So bathrooms, I feel like, is people's biggest fear when they move into the dorms. Each of the dorms, it feels like they have a different style bathroom. We're gonna rack my brain real quick. If I can remember, I think the most common types are communal bathrooms. So communal bathrooms, that's where you have a women's and you have men's, and it's just like rows of toilets, rows of showers. Typical bathroom. There's also pod style. These are where the floor just has like gender neutral bathrooms, where it's different, not stalls, but like rooms of a bathroom. So they have like a lot more of these, but they're not a communal style. And then the last type would be like shared bathrooms between rooms. And these are where you have 2 adjoining rooms and then a bathroom in the between. I had communal bathrooms when I was in Eigenmann, and honestly, they're not that bad. There are some definitely gross things about them. Like some people just really like to let their hair fill up the drain. but they're not that bad. If you have a bathrobe, the showers are usually like pretty decent. I'd say the biggest thing that was annoying for me was the shower head was like this tall compared to me, and sometimes the water would be cold because Eigenmann was such a big building, so you'd have to find times to shower where, again, like not many people were using it. It's not that bad. It's not great, don't get me wrong. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it wasn't terrible. We'll get into more of the items that are good for communal bathrooms when we get into the items section of this video. Our next topic is dining hall food. I know that this can really differ from university to university, but here it's not that bad. I've had a meal plan all 4 years. So my freshman and sophomore year, I was on the all you care to eat meal plan. And then now I'm on the 25 swipes per semester. So I actually still do go eat in the dining hall, and you can find good things. And honestly, like, again, I liked a lot of the meals. I know Forest is probably my favorite dining hall on campus. It usually has really good food, and like you can make your own meals. Like you don't have to straight up get the meals that they're offering. Like what I would do a lot of times is go to the like pasta bar, get chicken, and then go get like rice and other things and just make like a whole salad or some sort of like bowl for myself. And I personally really liked that. And also like dining hall breakfast is low-key goated. So that's not really something to be scared of. And if you don't like it, you can definitely get like snacks or other things that you're able to fix in your dorm room that will suffice. The last little topic of advice, how much should you bring? And this is a hard question because it honestly depends on the person and what they want. Like a lot of athleisure, that might be the most common thing that you bring. If you dress up for your classes, you might bring more nice clothes. Really just make sure you're not overdoing it in whatever you bring. You want to make sure that you have enough space for things. And if you bring too much, you might get to the point where it's really hard to keep your space clean because you just have too much stuff. You'll definitely end up buying stuff once you get to school. I'd say take basics like capsule wardrobe type stuff, some fun pieces. You can always get more. If you want like a whole video on like how to pack for college, we can definitely do that too. But just biggest piece of advice is don't overdo it in the beginning. Because one, it's like, it's definitely hard to unpack and bring there, and it's going to be very hard to repack. All right, into the best, probably most beneficial part of this video, the item list. And again, I'm gonna have this list in the description, linked to a Google Doc or a PDF or something like that. Totally free to access. It'll have all the links for every item that I talk about, and I might even update it with more if I think of any more. Guys, my voice is killing me right now. Oh, that didn't spill. Probably because there's like nothing in here. Okay, again, if I think of anything, I will add to this. So maybe like save this link, save the video. And this stuff is all linked to my Amazon storefront too. I just thought that the list might be a little bit easier for people to read. Starting with bedding. So I'm sure, as you all know, the dorm bed's not that big. I say that, and I also say that my freshman year and my sophomore year dorm bed was probably the best sleep that I've ever gotten in my entire life, and it is solely because of this mattress topper. This mattress topper is legitimately the comfiest thing ever. And I wish I was exaggerating because it is kind of expensive, but you're gonna be sleeping on it every single night. So if you're gonna splurge on one thing, I'm being dead serious. Like, I miss this mattress every day. And then for sheets and bedding, make sure that you get XL. When I was in the dorms, I got XL with extra deep pockets, and that just made it so the mattress topper and the like prison mattress that they give you both fit in it. Make sure that you have some sort of like fuzzy blanket. And then something that I felt was particularly helpful when I was in Eigenmann and my bed was lofted was this attachable bed tray. And this is because I am blind. I wear glasses and contacts. My vision is absolutely terrible. And if you were expecting me to get up to my bed without my glasses and without having a place to put them, you would be dead wrong. This was really nice just to have a little bit of storage closer to my bed instead of leaving things on a shelf or a nightstand closer to the floor. Also, make sure that you get an eye mask. This is just because like you and your roommate are definitely going to be on different sleep schedules some days. Like they might have to be doing a lot of homework while you want to go to bed. So having that eye mask just makes sure that they can still have their desk light on while you can go to bed. Toiletries. Get shower shoes. I saw people go into the shower without shower shoes, and I was always flabbergasted. I was like, you're letting your dogs touch this? Like, what? Anyways, I got cheap shower shoes from Target that had holes in them. I didn't want anything fancy. I saw a lot of people with like slides, so whatever works for you, just make sure that you have them. And then a shower caddy, especially if you have communal bathrooms and you're gonna have to be walking down to the hall to get to the bathrooms. A shower caddy is super important. important. So you can put your towel in it, you can put all of your soaps, scrubs, things like that. I really liked the mesh shower caddies. That's just because like when I was storing it in my dorm, it wasn't dripping water everywhere. So that was really helpful for me. I also found that you could fit more stuff in those. But a lot of people also had the solid ones. Those were probably cuter, but again, I thought that the mesh was more functional. And then you'll want a bathrobe just because you're probably going to be walking down the halls, and Eigenmann was co-ed. So even though my wing was all girls, there's still boys on the floor. A bathrobe is nice. And then I lumped this in with toiletries, but it's always nice to have some sort of like makeup organizer that you can put on a desk to keep things that you'll want in your room that you're going to need to access daily. Moving on to storage. Again, this is just such a big thing for keeping your dorm room organized and making the most out of space. So if you're going to invest in anything, make sure you get a lot of good storage. The best thing that I ever bought for storage, I'm actually sitting on it right now. I don't want to move my tripod or else I would show you, but it's this storage ottoman. It's super sturdy and it has shoe storage in the middle. You can also put other things in the ottoman. But for me, this was great because it added like an extra seat in a small dorm as well, or like something that you could step on to get up into your bed. And it lasted from my freshman year until now. So this is probably one of the best purchases that I made, and I still absolutely love it and use it pretty much every day. Another just easy thing is storage cubes and baskets, things that you can put on shelves that kind of hide the clutter. I prefer ones that are not see-through. I know a lot of people will tell you don't get clear baskets or anything that you can see into in the dorms. One, because you don't want people stealing anything, or you don't want people snooping, things like that. And then another thing that you might not think to get, but I found really helpful, was drawer dividers. So these are things that you can put in like your clothing drawers that are going to make it easier to fold and organize clothing into. Just again, another easy way to make the most of your space. And then you're going to need some sort of shoe storage. So like I said, the ottoman is great for that, or if you want some sort of like shoe shelf or even shoe storage that hangs over a door if you have space for that. Another item that I found really useful that I've used from my freshman year until now is a 3-tier cart. So my freshman year, I had all my toiletries on this. My sophomore year, I used it for like drinks and miscellaneous items. And now it's just like an extension of my desk. I have things that I need easily accessible on it. And again, like I said, if you can fit shelves into your room, do it, do it, do it. It'll make your life so much easier. Moving on to food. Since you're going to be eating in the dining halls, you probably won't need a ton of food in your dorm unless you were lucky enough to get a dorm with a communal kitchen. Some of them have it, some are better than others. I know Eigenmann technically had one. It was not a very good one. And then Walnut Grove had a beautiful kitchen that literally looked like it could have been on a TV show. For some basics, starting off with a Brita filter, you should definitely get this because you will most likely be getting your water from the sink or a drinking fountain. So the Brita filter was really easy because then I could keep it in my room and refill it when I needed. You'll probably have a microwave. I know I rented both my microwave and my fridge, which was really nice. For microwave meals, really just have one set of silverware, 1 or 2 plates, and a bowl. You don't want a ton of dishes because that might lead you to not clean them when you should, or like leave them out. And you just want to make sure that you don't do that. So one set of everything that'll make sure that you clean it right after you use it. And also you'll be cleaning them in the bathroom sink most likely. So like you don't need a ton of that. Kind of going off of that note right there, definitely get like a small thing of dish soap and a brush. I also had a Keurig in my room. I don't really like coffee, but I used it for tea, which I thought was nice. And then just like basic snacks like granola bars, goldfish, things like that, fruit bars. And if you have a freezer, which again, I rented mine, so I had a fridge and a freezer, maybe some microwave meals. All right, moving on to laundry items. Should you get a laundry bag? Should you get a laundry bin? I had a laundry bag my freshman year and it was nice, like especially because that was a smaller dorm, so offered like more space kind of that I could just like throw my dirty clothes in that. However, honestly, I didn't really love it. It tore eventually and it was kind of just hard to lug back and forth. So I definitely preferred some sort of laundry basket that had handles that I could take to the laundry room. I even saw some people with like ones on rollers and those look nice, especially if your laundry room is going to be like far away from your dorm room. And then kind of like I mentioned earlier, definitely get pods or sheets instead of liquid detergent. It's just going to make it easier to store and it's going to be just all around easier, mess free. Do yourself a favor. Definitely get a stain remover. There was like some like random week my freshman year where literally like 2 or 3 people had to use my stain remover all unconnected just because like nobody else had some. And then get Febreze or like antibacterial sprays. So this was for like when you wear clothes but you didn't wear them enough to wash them, like they're not technically dirty but you still want to make sure that they're like freshened up. And then finally, the fun section, decorations. So I'm obviously not going to cover all of the ways that you can decorate your dorms. I have videos of like dorm tours and what my dorms looked like. Go on Pinterest, they got tons of stuff for that. But these are just some like basic things that I think help make it feel more like a home. So like one, rugs. I really like rugs. They add color to the room. Like my freshman dorm had carpet floors, but I still put down rugs because I thought it made it look prettier. And then if you can find like some sort of like fun chair that you have room for, the ottoman, or maybe even like a stool, that can also be really nice. So I had a fun chair in my sophomore year dorm, but I didn't really have room for that my freshman year. And then if you have some sort of vanity mirror to go on a desk, that was really nice for getting ready. And it also just added like an extra light source because I'm not a very big overhead light person. So the more like fun lights that I could put in, the better. Which, speaking of fun lights, like LEDs, sunset lamps, stuff like that really do a lot to make your space feel more welcoming. And then I'm a big fake plant girly. I know people who are able to keep real plants alive. I am not that person. So I have fake plants that I've had all 4 years. And then something that I had in my freshman dorm that I actually have in my bedroom back home now is photo grids. I had these on the wall that I could just clip little photos of my friends into, and I really liked that because it like wasn't permanent. I could change things out and it was just super cute. But you can also find like framed prints, things like that. Definitely invest in lots of command hooks. That is everything that I had on my list. I'm sure that there's still some things that I missed. So if you guys want a part 2, or if you have any questions, please put them in the description. If you want Indiana specific questions answered, I would love to talk about that. I absolutely love yapping about IU. If you want to check out more content kind of like this, on my TikTok, I have a college essentials collection and you can go watch all of those videos. I have a couple dorm tours. I have talking about my dorm. I have talking about what dorms I lived in, things like that. Like I said, if you want to shop from any of those items and more, I have everything listed in a document in the description. This is definitely a longer video than what I'm used to doing, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you made it to the end, I hope you learned something. I hope you have a great day, night, or whenever you're watching this, and subscribe for more. And I will see you all later. Bye, everyone.